I went into my marriage with nothing. And honestly, I left with nothing except for my business. But that was the most important thing to me. Child support, alimony, somebody else's 401k that they earned. That wasn't mine. And that's fine. Like those things, I was terrified because I knew I was like, oh, I'm going to start from the bottom again. And that's okay.
Hey, how are you doing? This is Ronnie Rivera from Rebounds podcast, where the power of the comeback is the most important thing and the story is why we're here. Jo Stanovich.
Stanovich. Very good.
Here's the tough thing about it. First of all, welcome to Rebounds podcast. Your husband and I have been friends for much longer than you and I have been friends. I've known him for a long time. And when I say husband, this husband, we may talk about that. I mean, you had a couple of husbands.
Yeah. Oh, God, you say it like it's offensive. You know what?
It's not
just life lessons.
Exactly. We'll talk a little bit about that. You have got a distinguished resume that I've had an opportunity to look at. You have been Woman of the Year makeup artist for 23, 24, 25, and 26 from the Fabies. Mm-hmm. You have been a tattoo artist for 24 and 25, the Fabies. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You have been the nominee for Women's Empowerment Award for 23, 24, 25, 26. Or not 25.
Not 25.
Not 25. What? Somebody did not do their job in 25. We can do better. We can certainly do better. You are connected to many charities in town to include Covenant Care, Impact 100, Pensacola Opera, Pensacola Mardi Gras. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. First Tee, of course. You do a lot of work there. Crew SWAT. You were in Crew SWAT. You have done some stuff for Habitat for Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
AMI Kids.
Yes, AMI Kids.
You have done a lot of great work. Professionally, you from 2018 till now, you have owned Blush and Needle Society, although that wasn't the name of it for a while. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was Jo Rich Beauty until January 1st of this year.
That's right. And you just went through a major rebranding.
We did.
You have been the manager of Wilson's Leather from 03 to 05. A lot of leather in those days for you, I suspect.
Yes.
A lot of leather. And from 05 to 08, mm-hmm. you were the store manager of The Limited.
I was.
That's where you came into my life personally. And I want to thank you for that.
That's wild.
It is wild that it's been that long, to be honest with you. I'm very shocked. We were sitting here talking before we started taping. The night I met you, I'll never forget, we were at Seville Quarter, me and a buddy of mine, and you're walking out of the bathroom, and you've got these tattoos of notes on your foot, like music notes, with some blue velvet shoes. And I said, certainly this young girl cannot play, but you did, in fact, play that evening. You played the piano. I challenged you, first time I'd ever met you, and you did play the piano, so good on you.
Thank you. I actually am very sad that I don't remember that, but
yeah.
That could have been a point in my life where I was running around with my hair on fire. So,
but you remember the shoes, I bet you.
Oh, I remember the shoes. How could I forget the shoes? Of course I do. Those sadly were donated to the trash bin actually very recently, so I had them for a very long time.
That's a good run. That's a good run of shoes for you right there. You have done a lot of stuff in our community, but you are currently coming off of Mardi Gras, which was just yesterday. Yes. So Fat Tuesday was yesterday.
Yes.
But you have found yourself in a role here in Pensacola, Florida. For those of you that do not know, we celebrate Mardi Gras here in Pensacola. And you are Miss Town Crier. Tell us a little bit about that title.
So I actually had no idea that's what I was doing this year. I rolled off of the crew of SWAT. I had been there for 5 years, and it was just getting really difficult for me to stay up on everything and attend everything. So I said, I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to take a year. And here comes my husband, Marty, and Danny. Hey, we have a role that we think would be great for you. What about the Mrs. Town Crier? And that came from because Marty is Mr. Town Crier.
Yeah, your husband is Mr. Town Crier. Long time.
Yes, for I think 4 or 5 years, yes.
Town Crier.
But no one knew that, obviously, until this year.
Well, right. He was looking for a Mrs. Town Crier, and lo and behold, he found you. I mean, that's kind of how that happened, I suspect.
Yes, it did. And they asked me to do it, and, I didn't know what it entailed, but it sounded like a really good time, and it sounded like I was going to be able to wear ridiculous outfits. And, I'm always about that. So, I said yes.
It was a captivating role. I saw pictures and I saw you in person. It was quite captivating.
Yes.
Our families are friends. We've been friends, like I said, for a number of years. But there is a distinction that you have that I feel like I gave you. At least I hope.
Oh.
Many people consider Deborah Dunlap as the queen of Palafox Street. For some of you that don't know, Deborah has been involved in downtown Pensacola for a number of years. And then recently, when you opened your shop, I say recently, it's been a few years back now, you opened up your shop. And it wasn't long before I said, well, hold on. You could be the princess of Palafox Street. And so I've seen a couple of articles in the news, and you are indeed the princess of Palafox Street, at least to me and my family.
And
so.
yes, thank you for that nickname. And every time I hear it, I think of you. So I appreciate that.
That's the least I could do.
Yes.
So, Jo, obviously, we do this podcast, and you're actually behind the scenes involved in this podcast. A lot of people don't know you sponsor it. You're very committed to these stories of repowering and rebirth here in our community. But for those that do not know you, our listeners, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Well, I am Jo Stanovich. I am the owner of Blush and Needle Society. But beyond that, I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a creator. I am an artist. I am a makeup artist, a permanent makeup artist, a tattoo artist, and a piercer. But I think what I am beyond that is someone who has grown in herself and has truly learned how to empower herself. And that is what I love to do for other women. I think that is the role I have been given on this earth, as well as being a mom and a wife and all the other things. But that's me. I'm fun. I'm outgoing. I'm wild. I love putting on a show. Some people call me a show pony. Actually, I think that's Marty. He calls me a show pony. But I enjoy it. I enjoy all of it. So that's who I am as a person. That is really who I am.
Where does life have you right now?
Where does life have me right now? I feel like I am in a season of growth and expansion. And I know that has happened for me before, but I really feel like right now I am in a growth period of not only business-wise, but personal growth and mental growth and emotional growth, and also growth within the community. I think 3 years ago, people saw me as, the Princess of Palafox, and that's cute. I think that people take me a little more seriously now, and I actually said that to my husband the other day, and I said, I'm blessed to have you in my life because I feel because of you, people take me more seriously. I'm not just some dumb blonde who does makeup. I am someone who can make a difference. I am someone who loves to be involved in her community. I am someone who just absolutely thrives in all of those areas. And I think people have missed that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, there's a large amount of young ladies that follow you in Pensacola, Florida. You have a large following because you do curate quite a bit of content on social media, and obviously people look to you for answers. It's quite amazing. What drives you to do this type of work every single day?
Watching women look at themselves differently. I really find it that women struggle to empower themselves, and men. I mean, I'm not excluding men, but women in general. I like to watch them see themselves differently. When someone comes and sits in my chair, let's just say I'm doing makeup, people find that vain when you do your makeup, or you do makeup on someone else, or they pay for it. I've heard that before. But honestly, when you watch a woman sit in your chair who has come from a horrible day, or she doesn't feel good about herself, or, she's picking herself apart, to sit there and not only help her look more beautiful than she feels, but to allow her that space and that just space to become even more beautiful. When I'm doing makeup, it's not just about the makeup. It's about the conversations we're having. It's about the things that we talk about. It is therapy. I'm not going to lie. I think we should have to sign a HIPAA thing. I don't know what that is, but We have so many women that come in there, and when they leave, they're just different. They're different. And it's not because they have makeup on. It's because they've been given the opportunity to sit and be themselves and just talk and just be. And I love that. It makes me so happy. And I get so many messages of women that are like, thank you for just letting me vent. Thank you. Sometimes they cry, which, I'm like, come on, girl, we got to do the eyeshadow. Let's take a little break. But it's just a beautiful thing to see when you are helping women who are struggling on the inside and the outside. And I love that.
I don't want to get too much into your story right now, but I do have a follow-up question. Mm-hmm. Why is that important to you?
Because I used to struggle with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone once told me I had ugly duckling syndrome. I don't know exactly what that is, but I was always the nerd in high school. I was in the band. I pretty much look like the gym teacher with my oversized shorts because I weighed 80 pounds. I was your quintessential nerd. And
just real quick, and I'm gonna follow up on something real quick because we hadn't even really got out of the gate with the story yet. But I do have to ask this question. If you don't feel comfortable answering it, certainly don't. But there are many people that work through their lives and they are concerned about their weight and they're overweight. Mm-hmm. You have been concerned about your weight your entire life and you're underweight, you feel like. Is that true? Would you think that's a fair assessment and statement?
Yeah, I would.
And I'm sure a lot of people would say, hey, you're lucky, but I think people really don't understand really what you've went through in your life because of your own weight struggles. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, no, 100%. But I'll be honest with you, when we went through our chubby phase, it was because of alcohol. So we don't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore. That's right. What? When somebody first meets you, what is something that they may not realize about you?
I think they don't realize that behind my confidence, it was really hard to get there. Yeah. It was a chore to get there. It was a chore, and I went through a lot to be confident in who I am. And even recently, I'll be honest with you, this is probably in the last year the most confident that I've been in my entire life. And a few years before that, I went through a phase of thinking I was confident, but I actually was not. So, yeah.
We'll get to that.
Confidence, yes.
If your story had a title, what would it be? And why?
And why?
Exactly.
I think it would be becoming her, because every setback that I have encountered has only just skyrocketed where I'm meant to be. Every single setback. Every time I had to start over. Every time I made a decision and it wasn't the right one. I'm exactly where I need to be right now.
What sort of mindset guides you, or maybe a motto or your values or a quote or something? What is it that guides you to do?
I actually have two. And the first one that I always say is, I will stand on a mountain of no's for one yes. Yeah. And I've always lived by that because I have gotten a lot of no's in my life. Yeah. But for every no, you're that much closer to a yes. And the other one would have to be start scared, but just start. Because everybody's scared when they start something. I truly, truly believe that if you're not scared, something's not right. You're not doing it right.
Yeah. You should back out because you're probably not doing it right. I absolutely agree with that. Well, Jo, the hour has come and we always talk. And I actually know a few stories, so I'm going to be curious, and many of my listeners may or may not know, but I never ask what you're going to say before you sit here. So I'm going to be just as shocked potentially, although I know the stories. I'm interested in which one you give. We've all faced storms in our life. What is the one that has been the most difficult for you to face?
I was juggling between two.
Yeah.
I really was. And I think I'm going to go with the most recent one because a lot of people don't know this story, and I think it needs to be heard. So I recently had gone through a divorce, and that was really, really hard because not just because it's a divorce, but because I had to make the decision to know that I was not happy. And I was not happy in that situation. And it was making my children unhappy in that situation. And I had to wake up one day and say, you have to do the right thing, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how bad it hurts both parties right now. It's better in the long run. And in that moment, I knew that I was going to walk away with nothing. And I chose my peace over having everything and being miserable as opposed to being happy. And that's probably one of the hardest things I've had to do. And not only that, the stigma that came with it and the people who I thought were my friends who actually are not in fact my friends. And that's okay because I have a right to choose and they have a right to choose, and that's fine. I think the hardest part was the pain, not only for myself, but my ex-husband and my children. I never want to inflict actual pain on someone, but I knew that I had to make the right decision, and it was tough. And I did it actually almost in silence until it had to come out. And then, of course, it was like this big, oh my God, what's going on? Actually, I just haven't said anything because sometimes I like to hide my pain from other people.
Most of the time.
Most of the time I hide
know
my
you.
pain from
You're
other
our
people.
friends.
Yes.
How long were you married?
7 years, I believe. just shy of 7, yeah.
Take me back to that moment when you said, hey, I probably ought to do this.
I had gone back and forth and said, yes, I want to fix it. Yes, I want to do the things.
Yeah, because you're not a quitter.
No, I'm definitely not a quitter. That's also a Taurus thing,
That's
but
right.
definitely a me thing. I'm not a quitter. But I think I woke up one morning and I said, girl, get it together because you're lying to yourself, which means you're lying to everyone else. And I was. And I was hurting people because of that. And that was wrong. And I just said, as bad as this is going to hurt, you have to say the words out loud. They have to come out of your mouth because this is truly how you feel. Stop denying it. Stop saying, oh, I can fix it. Oh, I can make it better. Oh, I want to do this. At the end of the day, if you don't want to do something, you don't want to do something. And guess what? You don't have to. And I finally told myself that. I said, girl, you don't have to do this. It's not the end of the world. And honestly, in about 12 to 24 months, everyone in this situation is going to be a lot happier.
Were you scared?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh my gosh, I was so scared. I'm not going to lie. When I started Jo Rich Beauty, that came from my ex-husband. Like, he's the one that helped me through that and helped me start that business. And I was terrified because that's all I had. That's literally, I went into my marriage with nothing. And honestly, I left with nothing except for my business. But that was the most important thing to me. Child support, alimony, somebody else's 401k that they earned. That wasn't mine. And that's fine. Like, those things, I was terrified because I knew, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to start from the bottom again. And that's okay. And I did. And I made it, and I'm still here.
So you go into the marriage, you have very little.
Mm-hmm.
You create this business, and you find yourself in a bit of a loveless marriage. And you're thinking to yourself, I want to be happy,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to find that.
Yeah.
And I think you wanted your partner to find some happiness as well.
100%.
Yeah.
He was also miserable, which was hard to watch because I knew that I couldn't fix it, and, because
That's a tough realization for a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. You're not in charge of someone else's happiness. They are. And when it's obvious that they're not happy and you're not happy, you know.
How long did this season last for you in your life? I'm not talking about the actual divorce, but from the time you woke up and thought.
Dear God, it felt like an eternity. I would probably say a couple years.
Yeah.
It was too long. It was too long because it hurt more when it happened. It should have been, hey, this is how it is. We both know this is how it is. Let's figure out how to move forward in a kind and loving way with one another for the children, and let's be amicable. Unfortunately, it's not how it happened. I continue to try to be kind, and I continue to do the best I can, And honestly, that was a life lesson that I needed because he was put in my life at a point where I didn't know really what I wanted to do with my life. And when I figured it out, he was the one that helped me get there. So I'm not discounting him at all. I appreciate him for that. He was that part of my life that got me to where I am now. So he needs props for that.
Y'all still have a relationship where at least you talk. I mean, you have, like you said, you had children, that kind of stuff. Do you guys at least have some conversation?
It's predominantly just about the kids. My hope for the future is that we can eventually mend our friendship. That's what I want. I don't know if that's what he wants. I don't know if that will ever happen. But as long as we are agreeable on the children and schedules and those kind of things, if that's all that he can give for this moment in time, I'll take it.
So take me over these 2 years, the types of emotions that you're facing. There must be different types. Tell me a little bit about that. Certainly you've got some fear going on because you obviously feel like you're not going to be able to accomplish anything again. It's so weird to hear you say that you're defeated in such a manner. But there has to be a host of emotions.
Yeah, I feel like for anybody, financial stability is huge for most people, right? Mm-hmm. It is. And that was one of the emotions I was terrified about. Where am I going to go? How am I going to live? How am I going to survive? How am I going to continue to let my business thrive? And fear, took over for a while. And I'll be honest with you, also, I don't know if guilt is the right word or I think embarrassment is the right word. I think embarrassment is the right word because you see people and you always see their highlight reels, And I try to do better about this, especially with my social media now, of not always showing highlight reels, of showing, sprinkling in the realness in there. Because come on, be so for real. I was embarrassed. And I was embarrassed because I felt like, oh my God, I've created this name for myself. And here I am. I don't want to be with my husband anymore. I'm not happy. I am portraying someone who is extremely happy to everyone else. And I wasn't. And that's embarrassing, And it's embarrassing to, I'm going to go here, have a group of women who say they support you. And then in your darkest hour, you hear nothing from them. And then you're called the bad friend and they're like, where have you been? You haven't been supportive. Meanwhile, I'm over here fighting for my life, emotionally, mentally, physically, I'm struggling. And on top of making that decision, now I have these people who I thought cared about me. And I'm embarrassed because they don't. And I'm embarrassed because for what I'm about to go through. And that was painful. That was really, really painful. Having a group of people who you think are your friends, who don't know the story because you have not yet shared it, because you are not ready to share it, make assumptions or take sides or any of that before even having a conversation with you is just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing and it's hurtful, you know?
I'm kind of not shocked to hear that you may be embarrassed about something. I think people will find that a bit strange because, again, you do curate quite a bit of content, and you are a person that is often in the public eye. And when people see folks that are in the public eye, they often think, I could never do that. It's too embarrassing for me. And so I think that they would be shocked to hear that somebody that does well in that avenue, in that pursuit, would be embarrassed. But I do think that there's a sense of embarrassment and shame, the stigma that is attached to divorce for especially successful people generally,
Yes.
maybe not women, maybe more so than women than men, but because men often don't find any embarrassment over not being in a loveless marriage. But I do think you know, you're a mother, you're all of these things, and so all of a sudden you're kind of putting it out there that I'm not going to be just this any longer. I'm going to have to be something else, and I don't even know what that something else is. I don't even know what that looks like. Tell me about the time where you thought, this is it. I'm going to have to move out next week or next day or whatever, and you kind of made that decision. Take me back to that 48-hour period where the decision was made that I'm going to leave this marriage at any cost. No matter, even if it costs me my business, unfortunately, or anything like that. Take me back there.
Well, I knew that the only thing it wasn't going to cost me was my peace, because I was willing to give up everything for my peace. I really was. And I knew in that moment that I wasn't going to give up my peace. So whatever that cost is what it cost. If it cost literally everything I had, I was going to find a way to build it back, because I was not at peace in my own home. And that was tough. It was really tough to not feel like I could go home, because it was just a place of turmoil. And I just woke up one day, and I think I said it to him. I just went straight for it. I said, I want a divorce. I want you to leave. I want you to move out. Because we had another rental property at that time, and it wasn't, you know, I said, I'll stay here with the kids. And actually, I don't even think I was demanding about it. I was like, either or.
Yeah.
Because that's always me. I'm always trying to give people an option, you know, but I just knew this is it, and I have to do it. And I'm terrified, and I don't want to do this. But what I can't continue to do is not be honest with myself.
I'm not going to go down the road too many ways, but how many times have you rebuilt your life?
Dear God. Probably 5. I don't even know. Probably 5.
So you get here and you're like, at least I've had some experience rebuilding my life.
Yes.
And not everybody has had that opportunity. It is terrible at the time, but often refreshing afterwards, because you've learned so much from the rebuilding process. And we certainly will have you on additionally to talk about some other times. But let's continue down this road a little bit further. How did this affect, and you talked a little bit about it, but how did it affect people around you, just generally?
Generally, I don't
remember seeing you at an event with your now said husband, and goodness gracious, you would have thought.
Oh, yeah. You would have thought I took Queen Elizabeth out myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did this affect people around you?
I think it affected people, I don't know, I guess we can go ahead and say it was negatively, because is perception reality?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it reality?
It is for some.
It is for some.
Yeah.
For me, it's not. And this is actually one of the moments in my life where I learned that lesson, and not to be like that with people, because I used to be like that. But that was difficult. That was, Ronnie, oh my God, I know you saw me out. It was people whispering in corners, people pointing, people looking, people talking. My favorite part of that was never did I get one phone call. Not once. Not once did I get a phone call, ask me, hey, girl, what's up?
Yeah.
What's going on? Tell me the story. Not once. And that's okay. That actually made me a stronger person to go through that.
Yeah.
It really did.
Was the hardest part about admitting that your marriage was over?
Yes. Yes, 100%. Because I loved that man with all my heart for so long. I really did. And I'm going to say something that I don't think I've ever said out loud. I think a lot of it was infatuation at a young age and not actually getting to know someone for who they were. And then I learned.
That's funny, and we won't mention the movie or the book that we were talking about before we started this, but it was the same concept in that book and it's in that movie, and so it's currently in theaters, and I won't name it by name, but it's the same kind of concept. It's this infatuation with someone opposed to a really endearing long-term love, which takes time. It's not an easy process to get involved with, but when you're young, that happens often. Looking back, what are the lessons that you learned from the divorce? We'll talk about that first.
Lesson number one, always be true to myself, no matter if it makes me look bad. Just be true to myself and be honest with myself. And never be afraid to tell someone the truth, no matter how bad it's going to hurt them, because lying is even worse.
What is the lesson that you learned from the community?
Ooh. I'm going to throw Pensacola under the bus. Kidding. The lesson I learned from the community was never judge a book by its cover. And never, ever, ever think you know what's going on behind closed doors, because you don't. Period. With a T.
Let's kind of look at kind of the turning point now and kind of see where the shift is starting to be made. You've now left this loveless marriage. You are now in the throes of being a single girl. Where did the shift from this struggle start moving itself forward for you?
I think it was when I chose responsibility over being a victim, you know? I'm not a victim of divorce. I'm not a victim of a bad marriage. It takes two to tango, and it takes two to create a bad marriage, you know? So I'm like, okay, let me take responsibility. Let me go to therapy. Let me work out what I need to work out. Why do I feel these ways, and why do I act like this? You know, it's got to be coming from somewhere else. And I just took responsibility for my own actions, because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
And from there, I said, okay, let's go. Let's freaking heal. Ooh, I almost said it. Let's heal. You know, let's heal.
Yeah.
And let's get your life straight and change these things about you and move forward.
You have a group around you, but was there any time a conversation or maybe some sort of moment of clarity that you had post-divorce and you thought, man, I think I made the right decision here?
Yes. I've had numerous conversations like that. I had a conversation with a dear friend of mine about the way that my ex-husband handled a situation and the way he treated me in that situation after I said my truth.
Yeah.
And that gave me my answer by his reaction, by the way that he treated me. I said, oh my God, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because someone who truly loves someone who is trying to speak their truth would not treat them like that. So I knew.
So that moment of clarity seems pretty specific.
Mm-hmm.
and now you're kind of moving in the right direction, or at least you think you're moving in the right direction. Are you 100% sure? I mean, you've made this divorce, but is there some part of you at this point thinking, man, I made a terrible decision? Are you good at this point in your life?
No, I am 100%. I am so glad that I woke up and decided to be true to myself. Yes, 100%. I can't even explain to you. Yes.
Who showed up for you most during this period in your life?
Well, not because you're the host, but you did and your wife did. Your family was always amazing to me, even though I didn't share everything with you guys. I could feel it, and I knew that you guys could feel it, even though I wasn't saying a lot. I felt the love, so thank you.
You're a person of few words. I mean, you don't have to. You've always been a person. Oddly enough, again, you curate a lot of content and you're on social media quite a bit, but you really are a person of few words, and people don't know that about you.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to gather the things that I need from you in a sentence or two. You have a lot of feelings for just a few different sentences. So I know when you're in pain or you're in happy or any of those things. And our girls are very committed to those friendships.
Yes. I love them for
Did
that.
faith or mindset or discipline or anything help in this process?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I truly believe that when doors close, it's to protect you from something, and it's for another one to open.
Is that a mindset or is that your faith?
I think it's both. I think it's both. You know, Jesus and I, you know, we're home boys, home girls. But I also like to live by just not karma, not really karma, just the universe. What am I saying?
No, you're good.
You know, it's just when take those leads from the universe. When something happens, say, okay.
Rich Roll, one of my favorite podcasters, often says, him and his wife, that when you step out to do good in the universe, it will conspire to help you out. And so it's the same kind of notion.
Oh my God, I 1,000% agree with that.
How did you start to rebuild your confidence when things were at least uncertain, or it felt uncertain? And you talked a little bit about your confidence now. You seem to be very sure of yourself, and maybe prior to this, you were a bit faking it. So tell me about how your confidence started building.
So I've always had my friends who love me for who I am, right? I've always had those friends who are like, yeah, girl, just, you know, do you. I love you anyway. And those have been very few friends. And cue Marty.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very honest and very open about this right now because I don't think a lot of people know this. Marty is the absolute perfect human being for me, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because we're both wild personalities. We're both big personalities.
Yeah.
His is probably bigger. I don't know. Nobody knew he was a town crier until this year. So, Shade, love you.
Right.
But I have never in my life met someone who is legitimately a cheerleader for me, no matter what I am doing.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what. He is 100% behind me. Mm-hmm. He is always uplifting me. He's always telling me to go for things. He's always telling people how amazing I am. I have never had that in my life from a partner or like a best friend. Not to this degree.
Really?
My confidence is literally like I am Brangelina, the Mary Queen of Scots, and I don't know, Queen Elizabeth all rolled in one, because that's how confident I am.
Yeah.
Because I have someone who is just telling me on the daily basis, but not only telling me, showing me and showing up for me. And my God, I can't thank him enough. Jesus, he going to see this because
he may see it. I
his
hope
head's not going to fit through the door.
Marty was, and a lot of people may not know, but Marty was an instructor at PSC or PJC at one time. And Marty is a great instructor of humans. And so he's quite smart. Many people probably don't know that about Marty, but he's a smart guy, and so he often is a great cheerleader. I think maybe that's the way you say it, but
Yeah.
he is a great leader of people given an opportunity. So
He is.
So I have to ask. I mean, we're on the subject. How did this happen? I didn't know.
Oh, I
we were
love
getting
this.
far.
It's like
Right.
Pensacola tea. Oh
Right,
my God.
exactly. Crystal tells me, my wife tells me that all the time. This is Pensacola tea.
This is amazing.
It's
Oh my
not-
God, this better go viral. I'm going to be mad.
right. Tell me how this transpired then, if he's such a inspiration in your life.
So I knew Marty from back in, the early 2000s. And just as you remember Little Black Dress Night at 600 South?
I do.
Yeah, that curly headed,
Yeah.
MC. I'm like, who's that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I knew of him and all of those things, but we reconnected having to work with AMI Kids on one of the benefits, the Halloween one.
Yeah.
And this was at a point, I think, when I was like transitioning in my own life in this, the marriage and all that stuff. And he was just a friend, and he was always someone there to talk to. And a few, I don't know, probably 6 months, he asked me to go to breakfast one time, and then he asked me to go to lunch one time. And, he just kept asking me to lunch. And I don't pick up on cues, okay? Especially from men. And yeah. And then one day I don't even know how he said it. He said, I'm like asking you out. And the first thing I said was, aren't you married?
Yeah.
And he said, I've talked to my wife about divorce and we're not happy. We haven't been happy. We've kept things very quiet for a very long time. And, and that is what it is. That was their business to do. So, yeah, that's how it started.
That's how it always starts.
That's always how it starts.
Let me ask you, when did you start realizing, now that you're post-divorce, and maybe even now that you've met Marty, when do you finally realize, hey, I'm not the same person that I was just 2 years ago or a year ago or recently?
Yeah. I definitely think in the last year I have realized I am not the same person. And we're never meant to be the same person. Mm-hmm. We're meant to go through phases of our life and grow and change and evolve. And that's okay. That's part of growth. But I think I realized it about a year ago. And I realized that I was done feeling bad for my decisions. I was done feeling ashamed for, let's be so for real. I was done feeling ashamed from people because I started wanting to do tattoos. I was done feeling ashamed because I hung out with certain people or took certain photos. I'm a business owner. I do what I want. And in that moment, I was like, nobody's going to tell me how to run my life again. Nobody's going to tell me who I can take a picture with. Nobody's going to tell me who I can talk to. No one's going to tell me which charity event I'm going to be involved in. I think that's really when I decided that, holy shit, you don't pay my bills. Why do your opinions matter to me at all? At all.
Did you feel ashamed for doing tattoos?
I did. And that was coming from people who I thought were my friends. They're like, why are you doing that? Like it's something that you should be ashamed of.
As you're all tatted up.
And now, yes, yes. And, and then even people, my ex-husband, he didn't like tattoos. He was always like, oh, you're getting another one, And I'm like, you know what? This is who I am, and I should be okay with that. And so should everyone else. And if they're not, well, there's the door. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be along for this ride.
What did this look like, this kind of rebuilding process for you emotionally behind the scenes? What did this look like for you?
Well, I will say a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
I believe in therapy. I believe that everyone should have a therapist, even if you only go once a month. Marty, I'm looking at you.
Quinn Studer said he's never found a couch he didn't like for therapy. So
exactly, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
A lot of therapy, a lot of inner dialogue with myself, and a lot of honesty.
Yeah.
And really saying, girl, you are 40 years old.
Yeah.
Why are you still living like everyone else's opinion matters?
Were there small wins that sort of gave you this momentum behind the scenes to say,
Yes.
hey, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. There were small wins. There were times where I would be scared to stand up for myself with someone, or that I would be terrified to say no because I wouldn't be invited again. And it was just, okay, let's just try it. Let's just stick our little pinky toe out there and see what happens. You know what happened when I said no?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
They asked me again the next year.
Yeah. You've often called and said, well, what about this? And what about this? And I'm like, it was not going to matter.
Yeah, it's not going to matter. Yes. Yeah, and little conversations with my friends like that.
Yeah.
Like, girl, it's not going to matter. I'm sure I used to call you all the time crying, being like, oh, somebody said bad about me.
We've taken a few phone calls together.
We have. My God, I'm so sorry.
Never be sorry
You
for
do wanna
being a
bill
friend. Right. Let me ask you, was there a breakthrough moment where you're like, hey, not only am I back, but I'm better than I was before I left? Was there a moment, or has there been a moment yet? Are you still waiting on that moment? I do know that when you hung your sign for Blush and Needle Society, you were very proud that day, and I was very proud of you, and the community was very proud of you. But was there one day or one thing in particular that said, hey, I'm doing well?
Yes. And it was the day that I got married to Marty.
Really?
I remember looking around the room at all of the people that were there and feeling safe. You know?
Yeah.
Feeling like every single person in that room meant something to me or meant something to him.
Yeah.
And feeling like, okay, this is it. Because the very next day we changed the name of the shop and changed the sign. So it was it was just perfect. It was perfect timing. And it was just me saying, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Out with the old, in with the new. This is the new me. We're not going to mess around and find out anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a beautiful period. It really was. It was a great wedding, of course. It
Thank
was
you.
a lot of incredible people that were very happy to see your growth and his growth as well. I mean, it's important, but there's a lot of people there at that wedding.
Mm-hmm.
What strengths did you discover about yourself along the way?
Ooh. Resilience. And I can really adapt to anything.
Yeah.
I really do. Resilience is a big one. For someone who has always cared what other people think, and as someone who gets knocked down, used to get knocked down easily from that,
Yeah.
I can be very resilient.
I certainly believe that. How did this change how you see yourself? You've been very introspective of yourself as long as I've known you, 20 plus years. And again, I think many people do not realize how much negative self-talk you have had through the years about your own self. I don't think people know that about you.
Yeah.
I think they see you as this successful business person, this beautiful woman, a great mother, all these things, but I don't think they really understand what it takes. So tell me a little bit about that.
I think that I saw myself differently in the aspect of, I'm not behind on life. I've lived a life for other people and to make other people happy and all of those things. And now I'm living life for me and my kids and my husband and my friends. And I'm not behind. I'm just starting. I'm literally just starting. So watch out.
What makes you the proudest?
My kids. 100%. My son, I just need to tell everyone this in the world. My son had his artwork chosen to hang in the Pensacola Museum of Art. And it was amazing. And I was actually very sad because the day of the event, I had already been scheduled, booked out. So I was working, but Marty took the kids. And he sent me the picture of my son next to his artwork. And I could have died. My God, it was the best thing I've ever seen. It was literally a bunch of skulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was black and white, but it was shaded as if they were like sitting on top of each other. But when you zoom in,
Yeah.
the shading was line work. And I said, I don't know where he gets this. This is amazing. Like, put it in the Smithsonian right now.
Every parent is proud of their child's
Yes,
artwork, but
yes.
indeed, you're very proud.
Yes.
What do most people misunderstand about what it takes to make a comeback?
A comeback doesn't mean that you've hit rock bottom. A comeback, I think people mistake it for like, oh, I hit rock bottom and I had to come back up. No, a comeback could be from anything. A comeback could be, you know, you've had a big life change, or you've stepped away from everything for a while and you're ready to go again, or you've struggled with mental health and you just, this is your comeback. A lot of people have comebacks that people don't even know about
That's why the show's here.
because they're coming back from themselves
Often.
often. Yes.
What doors opened because of this setback in your life?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. I will say that I have been opened to many opportunities that are so amazing. And it's because I have allowed myself to say, I deserve this. I have worked hard for this. I'm ready for this. And this is going to sound like a dumb door, but door number one, Mrs. Town Crier. How cool is that? How cool is that to bring a male-dominated role? We're not bringing gender into this. I'm just saying that for my next sentence. A male-dominated role and bring a feminine to it so the women can feel just as involved or feel like, oh, wow, yeah, no, for sure. Why do we just need a Mr. Town Crier? Like, what's this dude doing? That in and of itself. And that has opened doors for me to be a part of like Potty Grawl. And I just need to say this. I'm so sorry, Mr. Mayor. I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
This door was open to me the other day. I'm calling it a door. I don't care. I had the woman who is in charge of all of the downtown construction. She came in a panic. Oh my God, we were supposed to have an interview on Monday, and it was supposed to be the mayor, and now he's busy. And Adrian said the next best person was you. I said, I'm done. Like, I can go home and clock out now. I'm sorry. I was the next best person to the mayor. Yes, I was. And that just made me happy because that's a door.
It's a huge door.
That's a door.
It's an enormous door.
That's a door to use as a platform. That's a door. Come on. Who else? Like, seriously, what if they were like, oh, Ronnie, you were right behind the mayor. Like, we wanted you.
They'll never say that. Does this mean...
I'm running for mayor. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is this an announcement that you have
No.
political
God.
aspirations?
Nobody wants me to be in charge of politics. My God.
We'll see. It's early. If you could speak to your younger self, what would you say?
I would say, girl, just keep going. Keep your head up. Keep doing what you're doing. You are loved and you are on the right path, even though you're going to take 27 detours. Girl, you got this. You're going to end up fabulous.
Good job.
Yeah.
How has your definition of success changed or evolved over the years?
I think it used to be so much about achievement and awards. And now it's really about alignment and who I align with and what my business aligns with and what my purpose aligns with and my peace and my sanity. So awards are great. They really are.
Yeah.
But
Going to your shop, you got a ton of them.
I do. But you know what the biggest award is?
What's that?
The shop.
Fair enough.
That's my award.
What habits or rituals ground you every day that you have to do as a leader for yourself?
I now, mornings, I have my rituals in the mornings. I do a little meditation. I always have my coffee in peace. I mean, this is obviously after I take the kids to school because that's a nightmare. But I do my meditations. I do my my gratitude. I do that every morning. I say what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
We have this fun little plant. Her name is Trilinda in the store. And they always say if you talk to your plants, they'll grow and be pretty. So I talk to her, and she is very pretty. But I know that sounds crazy. It's not, though. But I always tell her, this is what I'm grateful for. This is what I'm thankful for. These are the things that make me happy. And that, along with protecting my peace, that's what I do.
You have a pretty serious ritual, just generally about your bedtime and your wake up time. You're you call me the earliest out of any person on this planet.
I know, it's so offensive. I'm sorry.
It's not. I mean, and you call him FaceTime too, which is even crazier, right? Because you're obviously
I'm so glad you're saying this.
You're put together, like you're put together, and nobody is up at 5 o'clock in the morning other than you. But I think it does talk to the heart of how much you work. Like you're, obviously you got to get the kids to school, that kind of stuff, but you're at work fairly early and you're there very late. And then you're in bed by at least 8:30. And I'm kind of joking.
Oh, yeah, it's meme all time.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not either. I mean, you're very serious about your rituals and your habits. So to hear that you do some meditation in the morning, I'm shocked to hear that. I mean, how do you find that time?
It's generally just like 5 or 10 minutes of peace and quiet with my coffee. I make sure I find the time.
Yeah.
I find the time. And I also, one of the things that I do before bed is I go outside and I ground myself. So I go out barefoot.
Yeah.
And I stand, because we live on the water.
Yeah.
And I stand in silence.
Yeah.
And I just listen. And I say, thank you for everything that has come to me today. Thank you for everything that's going to come to me today. Thank you for having me on this earth.
I think it's important for our listeners to know about these rituals. And when I had Mark Faulkner in here, CEO of Baptist Hospital, Baptist Healthcare, and I said, I'd like to know your ritual. Most CEOs, I hear that you guys do crazy stuff. Maybe you do 30 minutes of goat yoga or something like that. Turns out he doesn't. He just works out in the morning. So.
Thank God.
Yeah, this is not a big shock. I mean, you just got to do something. So It sounds like you're doing something. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received in your life?
Ooh. Hold on. I had this written down. Hold on. Because, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. You don't have to prove yourself to people who are already deciding that they misunderstand you. Don't have to prove myself to them. If they've already made the judgment that they're misunderstanding me or don't want to understand me, it's not my job to change their mind. Okay.
How did the failure of your marriage shape who you are today, or shape the purpose of who you are today? Either or.
It taught me to be a better person. It taught me to be true to myself and true to the loved ones that I have in my life. But it ultimately taught me to be a better person. Be kinder. Don't pass judgment. If somebody's having a hard time, be there for them. But yeah, it's been tough. But overall, to be a better person, because we all could do that.
If your story was a song, what would it be?
Oh, I'm screaming.
And the reason, because I know you listen to a lot of music like I do. Many people don't know about you. When you're walking down the street in Palafox, you often have headphones in.
Because I do, because I'm
listening
to music,
right?
Yeah, either that or like a murder podcast, right. But or Rebounds.
Right, fair enough.
I think it would be My Way by Frank Sinatra.
That's what the sheriff said. Same thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. That was his.
Okay, Chip.
Yeah.
High five.
All right, good. We'll take it. What do people often get wrong about coming back or bouncing back, or the resilient story? What do they get wrong about that?
I think it's not. Resilience isn't being unbreakable. Mm-hmm. It's really choosing to rebuild after you've been broken. That's what resilience is. And never giving up.
What would you say to somebody that is currently listening right now that is going through their own rebound story and their own comeback story, and they're by themselves at their house or they're listening in their car? By the way, we have listeners all over this country and all over the world now. I checked my analytics. So somebody in China, what would you say to them?
Oh my God, I love this.
All right.
I would say the season of your life is not your identity. It's just a season, and it will pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just training you for what you're meant for.
We're fixing to wrap this up. We've been here a long time today listening to this amazing story. It doesn't feel like it, but we have. This is my signature question I always ask. What's your personal definition of a comeback story?
Damn, Ronnie. It's not returning to who you are or who you were. It is rising as someone stronger and better, more resilient, wiser. And even if it's with scars, it's just moving forward and being better than you ever have before.
You look amazing. And it's not the outer appearance I see in you. It's the inner peace that I see in your heart. We've been friends 20 years. I certainly appreciate you coming on the show, sponsoring this project. I think it's very important for Pensacola and our community as a whole here in the Southeast. And so we're doing a great thing here. So thank you very much. For those that are not aware, you have Blush and Needle Society. If you need a tattoo, which is, I guess, frowned upon by some, but it is totally not a frown. I've got two that I've gotten from you, so not frowned upon by me or my family. Or you need any beauty needs?
Yes, we like to say we're beauty with an edge. So makeup, skincare, permanent makeup, tattoos, piercings. By the way, we've pierced, I swear, every child in Escambia County. And yeah, just all of the things, tattoos, you name it. It's just beauty with an edge because beauty looks a little different now.
You need your own skincare product line.
I know. You keep saying that.
Eye lotion for men.
Please stop saying eye lotion. My God, it's moisturizer.
Thank you so much, Jo. We appreciate it, and I look forward to having you back soon.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for listening to Rebounds Podcast with Ronnie Rivera. If you have an opportunity, please review our show notes and support our sponsors, Blush and Needle Society, Meredith Bush Law Firm, Randall's Formal Wear, Youths Left Behind. Also, please support us on our social media platforms, Instagram and YouTube. We'll see you next time on Rebounds Podcast.